Upside pressure in the US dollar can be parabolic as a result of rising oil price on the back of the geopolitical tensions. I'm going to really break this one down. Morning, traders. Happy Thursday. I hope we are all well and truly lit. Yes, we're back. We're back with another day in these beautiful markets. Welcome back. This is the E8 Macro Desk. I am your host, Ken Chigbo. Let's jump straight into this. Guys, how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? Are some of you still wounded after the excessive liquidity sweep that was in play for gold? And the gold sell-off may not be over yet. And I'm going to get over to the gold chart in a moment. But I really wanted to, I was just doing some further analysis, right? As I do, just reminding myself, looking left of the chart, looking at history. This is how we learn, this is how we grow and continue to understand previous macro regimes, previous cycles in the market to capitalize. So I, as you noted in the start of this video, I was talking about oil prices, right? And you guys are aware of the situation in oil at the moment. We are going freaking parabolic with the push to the upside with oil. And remember, this has come down to a simple economics 101 perspective. And if we have the fear that supply is not going to be there, right, as a result of, because the Strait of Hormuz is, there's a lot of uncertainty around the Strait of Hormuz right now. Iran have said that they're going to put fire on any container, any ships that come through the Strait of Hormuz. How dare you? You're going to cause our prices to rise. Don't you dare. Trump, send them. Send the Navy escorts. No, because it affects all of us, right? It affects everybody. It causes inflation, which is a real focal point I want to really hone in on. So if we do get a disruption to supply, obviously prices, of course, are going to rise. Markets are going to be pricing in that risk premium. When we look at oil at the moment, we're caught. You can see it quite nicely on the 1 hour, these equal highs. We took out the liquidity of the Wednesday high and Tuesday high, just about. So these equal highs, and you can see, obviously, we're caught within a bit of a range. Now, I get the question a lot and around, are we priced in? Are we priced in? Well, you know, to some extent, the general, like when you look at certain risk assets, we've priced in this war risk, okay? Unless obviously it further escalates, because someone messaged me on X, right? And I put on a note, right? I put out a tweet just saying that, look, right now, in order for risk-off trading to continue, i.e. safe haven flows to really continue, we need some serious escalation. And someone replied saying that, oh, is it gone? I don't know where it got. I think he had quoted me, but he said, really? Like, is this not serious? And I was just said that at the end of the day, markets are brutal. You've heard me say it before. Markets are brutal in the sense of they always want more. It's like, and it is kind of horrible to say, especially when we're in times of geopolitical uncertainty, but it's like, this is old news now. What's next? Are you going to further surprise us? Is something more drastic? I mean, it is drastic, but is something else going to happen outside of what we already know? Outside of our, we've planned this in some sense. We've priced in, this is within our remit. So anyway, potential near-term downside for oil, which is interesting. Obviously, we've got these higher highs, these higher lows, this nice little staircase push to the north. But what I like is that we've had this sweep of the Wednesday high. We've had the sweep of the Tuesday high. We formed this bearish engulfing. So we could be set for a little bit of further downside before we get that push to the north. I see this obviously as bullish consolidation. This is a bullish consolidation that we've got at the moment. We could form a narrowing triangular structure. So keeping the price potentially pulling back before we get a reload of those longs. We may catch some support here at this upper acting trend line as part of this narrowing pennant, this narrowing triangular structure. It's just consolidation, right? You're going to call me all these names, Ken. It's just consolidation ahead of further committed moves. Now, why I wanted to mention oil very specifically in this rundown, why I wanted to mention oil is because you guys know the correlation. But just firstly, if we get this pullback here, I would look at buys. Anywhere, I guess, in this proximity, right, to the lower part of this range, to this low area here where all this sell side liquidity is, which I do not believe we're going to be taking out. But if we come down here, personally, I will look at buys. If we don't get that pullback, but this will present an opportunity for additional longs when we do finally take out this heavy area of supply, in my opinion. If we break retest there, then we can go clear in towards 83s. Now, you can see that nice upside pressure. I'm going to go on to CAD in a moment, but I just want to talk about the implications of this war and what it means for the US dollar. Because if you heard me at the start of this video, I said that or dollar upside can go parabolic. I love that word, parabolic. If oil prices continue to rise to the upside. Now, let's go back to the war, the Russia-Ukraine war here, where Russia, obviously, there's mixed terminology around the Russia and Ukraine stuff. You know, some people say it's a Russia invasion, you know, of Ukraine. Some say it's a war. Anyway, the Russia and Ukraine tensions, geopolitical tensions, when we had that back in February 2022, it was like really things were bubbling late January, and then early February they kicked off, and we had this massive rise in oil. This is oil going parabolic. So we jumped 42%. Now, it's very important that you stay with me because you're going to understand how I'm piecing this together with the dollar. Very, very freaking important, guys. So we had this massive push to the upside after what was nice here. When you look at it technically, it almost made sense, right? We had the breakout and retest of this key zone 9250. We had the consolidation forming a bullish pennant, narrowing, just consolidation again, subject to a breakout. And obviously the breakout was triggered by the macros there of what was happening with Ukraine and Russia. Now, remember, guys, very important. If we have war or geopolitical tension, especially in a economy that's known for producing oil, markets start fearing that there's going to be supply constraints. So that's why we had this big push to the upside. Remember, Russia are a major oil producer, major oil exporter. So that forced a rise in oil prices. Now, this obviously impacted everybody because remember, when oil prices rise, what did I know in my tweet a little while ago? I put out a tweet on the dollar just explaining the upside pressure, dollar strength right now. And you can see market expectations have been pushed back. They've been reduced. They've been reduced for rate cuts. Why? Because Ken mentioned here, because of higher oil, higher inflation pressure, fewer potential cuts. Back here in 2022, what started to happen? Tell me. Rates started to freaking go up. Rates, because inflation was going nuts. Oil is extremely, extremely a key factor for inflation. It is that at the heart. If oil prices are rising, inflation is going to have. That's why we have certain inflation metrics that strip out the volatility of food and energy prices. Okay. But if oil rises as it does here in 2022 of 42%, even it just carrying on as the way it is going at the moment, what have we risen? About 13% from here? Excuse me, way off, 22%. So what's to say, given this consolidation that we've got going on right now, okay, and I'm going to bring in CAD into this in a moment as well, guys. What's to say when you measure that, this momentum move of that pole, of this pennant, what's to say we can't do that and go in towards $92 and replicate something that we saw before there in the Ukraine war? We've got nice structure at the moment, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, consolidation subject to a breakout for a high, high. If this happens, this is going to bring in the dollar in a moment. Look at June. June, 65%. Do you remember when we were saying 50-50? Do you remember before we were saying 70-80% probability that they were going to be cutting? And now it's the large probability right now that they are going to be leaving rates unchanged. This is great for the dollar. Okay, this is great for CAD. All right, I'm going to come to CAD in a moment. But let's just go over to the dollar because I want to talk about some ideas today, right? Oh, ooh, this looks good. No, this looks nice because we've got. Let's go to the daily moment. Let's go to the weekly. Okay, obviously we've got this key area here, this bounce. As I said back then, you know, I had to swallow my ego. I said we've bounced at key support. This is major, the higher time frame support. So we're going to get upside pressure. We snapped the losing streak, 1, 2, 3 months. We snapped it. Now, when you go on a daily, okay, we've taken out this barrier here at 98. We broke out this flag. Boom. And now we headed into these highs here. And as I said to you guys yesterday, we had to pull back before we extend to the upside. Remember I noted those zones around 99 to 98.50. We've found some demand in between. We basically caught support at that high. Look. Bam. And what we've done now is we're breaking out this pullback structure where we've formed a big bullish freaking flag. Okay. We've got this nice bullish flag and we've got room for a further extension to the upside. When we measure this momentum move here, you know, and I think personally we're going to take out that high. Okay, we'll be taking out this high here and get a further push to the upside. Now, what does this mean for euro? Now, the play today looks super bearish. We still look bearish. Okay, we have this bearish flag here, which we've had the breakout of. We've obviously got a lot of sell side liquidity at around what? 1580, 85. What I would love to see today, whether we see it or not, is take out the Asian range high. Get this sweep up here and look at all this supply. Take out that high and then head to the downside. We got the low here, okay, the previous day low of Wednesday, down at 1580, and then we got the low here of the week on Tuesday. So we take out that low, and then we get the continuation, and then let's see what happens when we get to the lower part of this key zone. Okay, that's what I would love to see in terms of further downside. Obviously, I'm not going to go through everything, but similar sort of things for GU as well in terms of that downside, that downside pressure. Let's see if we can get a sweep at a high. Similar to euro, we've got that major supply up here. Take out the liquidity, get a sweep, and then carry on to the downside. We've got previous day low down here, which we need to take out. There's a lot of sell side liquidity here, a lot of sell side liquidity where I can flush through. Then we've got the supports here, the next target, excuse me, of Tuesday low. But really, it would be beautiful if we can get that sweep up here. It would be gorgeous, gorgeous for further downside. Now, the reason why I wanted to mention CAD, okay, it's very important to note CAD. I think I'm going to save the detailed analysis for another rundown. But look, with Canada, their top exports were what? Crude petroleum, 10.3 billion. I was going to say trillion, 10.3 billion Canadian dollars. So it's a lot of oil. So with rising oil prices, that has a positive impact on CAD, right? If we look at some of these CAD pairs, they're just freaking aggressive to the downside. Look at that. Okay. Big downside. Obviously, CAD benefiting from rising oil prices. And as I just said there before, right? What did I say about rising oil prices? What did I say? That they're going to continue. Now, look at Euro CAD in 2022. Do you see the effects of higher oil prices? Right? That's Euro CAD. Look at GBP CAD. Okay? All right. Not so much. But this is a case of picking your pairs wisely. But that would be seen across the board. That CAD benefiting, CAD being a massive beneficiary from rising oil prices. So I like that CAD downside pressure. I need to personally conduct a little bit more analysis on my side, right, in terms of some opportunities that we're going to be looking for. I'm not going to be talking about them today because we've seen some quite extensive moves to the downside. You know, we've had these nice gaps. And when you look at euro, if we look at GP CAD, first of all, obviously there's a lot of sell side liquidity that's been taken out here. Let's just quickly mark it up and go through it. It's very important to note. And especially with the Bank of England, where we're going to be heading towards rate cuts to come from the Bank of England, pound is dovish, right? Softer data, jobs data, softer. So we've seen rising unemployment. We've seen worsening in terms of the wages. We've seen inflation come down. So this is nice because we're taking out this sell side liquidity here. We're going to get a nice, strong, potential weekly closure below. Then next week, we could be eyeing some opportunities on rejections there. And, you know, you could even look at that as head and shoulders. Look, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Pull back into there. When we look on the higher time frame, the next support is here. This is where we could be gunning for this week before we potentially bounce for that retest like this, right? But we want to see that rejection this time and then get that continued move to the south. As long as it escalates, okay, as things keep escalating, oil rises. It's not about pricing in, because if oil price is going to rise, CAD's going to keep rising. Do you know what I mean? That's not being priced in. If supply is being disrupted, that's not a case of pricing it in. Oil's going to keep rising, because if there's no supply, not enough supply, right, in the markets, price is going to rise. So CAD's going to benefit. Excuse all that noise. Is my little macro beast again. One off. So yeah, expecting further pressure for CAD, right? Expecting some further pressure there. In terms of actual trade ideas, I'm going to look at that. I need to conduct a little bit more analysis, guys, and I'll come with that prepared for tomorrow's rundown, okay? For CAD, I'm going to find the best, in my opinion, the best divergences that we could have, the best pairs or currencies against CAD that we're going to be looking at. So we'll save that for tomorrow's rundown, because I just want to hurry up here and jump onto the data, because we had ADP employment change yesterday. So let's just pull this up. All ADP, which is the privately conducted payrolls, the numbers saw a jobs added of 63,000, beating expectations of 50K. but the previous was revised lower to 11K, okay, from, what was it, 22. So potentially okay number there. We're going to keep an eye on today. We've got the unemployment claims. The unemployment claims, remember, we had a couple of weeks where it rose, but then last couple of weeks have been good. So if this number is good, all right, as I said, this number, and then heading into non-farm payrolls, we'll get good non-farm payroll number here, guys. What can you expect? Use your macro brains. A pushback on this. So you'd see this on non-farm, after non-farm payroll. Don't be surprised if this is up at 80% probability, then they're not going to change. Dollar upside opportunities, huge. If this jumps up on the back of what? Non-farm payroll. So if we got more jobs still, surprising markets to the upside in terms of jobs being added, got better retail sales, that could happen, lower unemployment rate, higher earnings, dollar, as I said at the beginning, will go parabolic coupled with the rising oil prices. Okay, so that's my view today. Keep an eye, stay lit, stay blessed. Let's get it.